All right, we're in. You want to start us off there, big guy?
In like sin. What's up, guys? It's probably the same three people watching, but still. I'm Jake from Turn 13 Motorsports, and this is Ryan.
What's going on, everybody? Or person, should I say?
What's going on, L person?
So, yes, start off by the same thing we always do. Jake, what do you get going on in the shop?
Well, I've been doing holiday stuff this week, really. So, just kind of, I've done a little bit of cylinder head stuff. I actually had a customer drop a 17 plus GSXR cylinder head off to me tonight for me to go through it and fix it and all that good stuff. But yeah, a lot of holiday stuff this past weekend and this week. So,
Same. Just, well, I finished up a couple things after the last episode, and then had some pickups, a couple things. Iron Pony came and got their stuff. Started to put that together. Got a little sneak peek of that. I sent you a picture of that. It looks pretty good. I'm excited to see that thing together. So, and then the turbo I did with the American flag, that guy picked that up, and yeah, he was super stoked on that. We're going to do a couple more parts on that, I guess. He's going to bring me some stuff, I think an intake and boost pipe and stuff. So we're going to do some pretty cool things with that, make it look pretty interesting. So that's
Nice.
always super fun to do. I like doing that stuff. And then, got some other things dropped off, like a CR500 pipe over there. I think that's what it is. It's a big two-stroke pipe. I don't know if you see it sitting on the shelf over there. I think it's CR500 pipe. Yeah, so, doing those things and trying to get a couple of things completed. And, obviously, oven's not finished yet. Still have things to do on that, which is taking way longer than I anticipated, which is always the case. So I should just anticipate that it is going to take forever. And yeah, I haven't started on the other piece of equipment yet because I want to make sure I get the one I have together and going. So there is that. Yeah, so, Hey, Dave, how's it going, man? I saw you have your jeez, my gosh, it's escaping me. Your Harley up for sale. Saw it on the marketplace there. Curious of what you're getting into next. If he's still with us.
yeah, I don't know. I can't see who's with us and who's not. So I have no idea. Do you have YouTube chat over there as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. But it won't pop up on the on this because I'm not sure how to do that yet. But,
Right. I was just making sure you had it up because I can't see any.
Yeah.
I can't see any YouTube chats. So if somebody says something, if it's directed towards me, I'm out of the loop here.
So what do you got? What do you got? Some topic. Let's. You got anything to talk about here? Probably not, right? I mean, geez.
Can talk about whatever you would like to talk about.
I don't know, man. I did see just randomly that Dorna might be sold. Did you see that?
No.
It was on, I can't remember, some Facebook thing, racing MotoGP thing. I didn't really look into it much. I just saw the headline, thought, oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Garrison, what's going on?
I mean, if it's anything like Moto A, we get a new title sponsor every year.
Yes, that's true.
I think Medallia might be going into next year though, so
I'm not sure.
it'll be a bit consistent, but yeah, it's changed a lot. It's probably going to be like the Moto A Ray Hall Superbike series.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I guess
That's going to be the title sponsor.
the what am I? We talked. Well, I don't know if we talked about something, but Corey Alexander is joining Ray Hall, so there's that.
I saw that. Isn't he? Oh, they're just fronting 3 bikes because they want to do Superbike next year.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But they're not doing Superbike. It's I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're not
actually.
doing Superbike this year. I think they want to do it. They were saying they were going to do it next year or the year after or something.
Aha.
So they're probably just locking down all their riders.
Gotcha. I also saw that the Chibati on MotoGP side leaving GP and going to their dirt division. So there's that. That's going to be kind of wild.
Yeah.
And then back to Moto America real quick. There's the Flow for Law, which is going to be Benjamin Smith and what's his name?
I did read that.
Bobby Davies. They're going to be doing stock 1000 and Superbike. So there's just another entry in that. And I don't know if we covered it before or not. I think we did, but SDK is going to be on a BMW this year too.
I don't know if we went over it on here, but yeah.
I could get the stupid chat overlay to work for whatever reason now. Again, of course. Always a pain in the butt. Never get this thing right a second time for whatever reason. Let's see if I can fix that. Doesn't look like I can fix it, so whatever.
It's okay. People will see on whatever media they're on.
Yeah. Down to 2 viewers again. Okay, cool. And then I don't know if we talked about it or not either. Westby Racing shutting down, which is wild.
No, we didn't. We definitely didn't talk about that, but yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, what was there a reason behind that?
Yeah. You know? Well, the team principal Tig there, he's sick. Like, he's having health issues. I don't know what exactly is going on with him, but they said they had to pull the program because of health issues.
Yeah, that sucks, man. That's a big team, and I wonder where the riders are going to go.
I don't know. I mean, Matt's incredible. Like, he should definitely get a ride. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, all the spots are taken up. Like, it's like you got to just form a new team or something.
Right.
I know that Superbike Unlimited, because they work with them a lot.
Yep.
I know that they were talking about trying to get sponsors to front a team to continue kind of like that setup.
Interesting.
So I'm guessing they kind of just want to take full charge of Westby as like an SBU team and still use like the R1 with like attack support with them and all that good stuff. And I mean, I would imagine they would hire on the rest of the Westby team, but I don't know. But I did read that they were trying to get sponsors and stuff to keep the team going, or rebrand it or whatever you will.
Yeah, it would suck to lose that in a championship now this coming year that's going to be so packed. So hopefully they can pull something together with Superbikes Unlimited or something like that, and
I hope Matt goes to a different team. Like, I don't have anything against Superbike Unlimited or Westby. They've just never been they're always just like one step behind, because Attack helps them so much. They're always like one step behind Attack.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, I mean, you're not going to give up all the goods.
Yeah, and so like Matt has done so good, and he's been in the top 3 like at the championship finish so many times that like he just needs to get on a good team.
Yeah, for sure,
and win some. I think like I can only remember him winning like in the wet in like the past 3 years.
He's had a lot of crashes, some injuries, and things like that, right?
Yeah, for sure. But it's just even in like even in a good dry race, his pace is just a little behind.
Just a little off. But I mean, he's still in the top 5 usually.
Yeah, for sure. Because he's incredible, and so that's why I hope he gets a different ride. But again, I don't know what there is. At this point, I guess take whatever you can get on.
That's true. It's a little off topic from that, but excuse me. Flick, right? Josh Flick.
Yeah, not personally, but
he picked up a KO.
Did he?
Yeah, which is odd. considering the YCF is out.
Yeah, but it's a lot more expensive.
Not. I mean,
Isn't the KO like $3,200?
yeah, but you're talking another what? 1,000 maybe.
And more. I mean, I think it's 46 for the 157.
Oh, it is 46 for the 157.
Yeah.
But still, it's 1,000. Because I mean, look, you buy the KO, it's already underpowered.
No, I'm not arguing
The
that
suspension's-
the KO's good.
The
Like I would have bought
suspension sucks.
the YCF too,
Yeah.
but like maybe if he's just pulling cash out of his bank account and buying one, then
True,
you know.
true.
Did he buy it new?
Yeah,
Oh,
brand new.
okay.
Got it at Crate. I saw his post on it, and I was like, man, I should have bought the YCF. It's just such a better deal altogether. I mean,
Yeah, I would agree.
Because what did Thomas's make on the dyno
Was it like 13? I thought it was like
after?
I don't know.
I think it
I'd have
wasn't
to-
it like 8? Something.
Oh, stock?
Yeah.
Oh, stock was really bad. Yeah, I thought you were talking about like after we were done.
No. Before it was
Yeah,
like
stock
8
was
horsepower.
no. I think it was 10. I think it was like 10
maybe it
flat,
was,
10
yeah.
flat. But still, it was 10 flat in F2.
Right,
Like,
right.
10 flat in F2 is, I mean, I make 9.5 on a stock moto build.
Right.
So like 10 flat in F2, that's
Pretty terrible. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
Plus,
with that.
it's got legitimately shit suspension front and rear. The brakes suck. So it's like, right away you're upgrading shock, fork internals, brakes.
I mean, yeah, you probably are dumping another 1,500 into
Way
all
more
of
than
your
that.
stuff.
Way
like,
more than that. And, he's not going to be, like, if he rode a YCF, he'd be way happier.
Didn't he have that little Cobra?
Yeah, he's selling it.
Why would you get off the Cobra and get on the
Maybe he just wants to get on, like, more of a GP chassis. I don't know. I mean, and the Field and Omar L for the GP chassis it's kind of shitty to be in, to be honest, because it's, you have Thomas and maybe one other guy, and then the rest are just kids on
Yeah.
ovals who are ridiculous fast.
what's his face was running that NSR for a while, but Brian.
Yeah, yep. But that's more of a
But yeah, I think
like F2 or F1 bike or something.
it's not F1. It's either F3 or F2. I don't know if he had a well, actually no, because he didn't have a 130 kit. He had a 120 prior, and I think this one he has right now is a 110. So it's technically like a GP3.
Yeah, and that's the other
F3.
kind of crap thing. I talked to Thomas about this too, with the way they set it up. They kind of split everything into like, well, there's a GP class and then there's the rest. And really it should be personal preference. It should be gone by weight or age limit. Like you have the under whatever age, under 16 and then everything over 16. That way Thomas doesn't have to race against, kids that have an extreme advantage, 100 pounds. Not only that,
Yeah.
the skill level. I mean, some of those kids are really fast. There's nothing wrong with the skill level thing, but the GP class is very small. So then, what you're racing against is 2-3 bikes versus the other F2 bikes. There's a ton.
Yeah.
Not that you're not still kind of racing them, but as far as points and stuff, it just kind of breaks down into like nothingness, right? It kind of pulls some of that competitiveness away from it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they made the GP classes just so that they could have so they could separate it, so kids didn't just win everything, right? Because if you ran the Ovales like F1, F2, F3, then they win, and
Yeah,
then
for
everybody
sure,
else
but-
is just playing for second, third, best of the rest.
Yeah, but I mean, you put a kid on a KX65 or something, the same result's going to happen, right? I mean, it's a kid who's like 70 pounds, so
Yeah.
that doesn't make much sense. That's why I said it should be they should break it up more into just an age class. You know what I mean? I mean, that's personally the way I look at it. I talked to somebody whose kid did race, and he was like, "Oh, I like it." That way he has a little bit more competitiveness. You're not going to stop that, right? Because again, if you're running F2 and there's a GP class that goes with F2, you're still technically racing each other, but in the point spread, it's not there. So there's still going to be that competitiveness, but in the long run, when it comes down to point stuff, the guys that are out there to have fun and stuff, and it's like when I raced, I wasn't trying to put a move on a kid and stuff him.
Well,
But for damn sure, if you were beside me, I would put it on you. You know what I mean? We're adults. That I wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't feel bad you putting a move on me. Et
no,
cetera.
for sure.
But when you do it to somebody's child, you know, and he even said, "Well, I don't care. That's fine if you did that. That's all
You
about
just have to be
racing."
careful. Like, stuffing a kid's one thing, you know, like it's looked down upon probably, but like, but if you wreck them, like that's really bad. Like,
Well, that's
you
the
can't
other
wreck
thing.
a kid.
It's like now you go down. There's a difference in the weight again, right? So like, if you're a 190-pound dude and you're running into a kid at 60 pounds, you land on top of him. That's not a good situation. So like, whether or not the parents are like, well, he's got to get used to the competition and the back and forth and stuff. Well, that's one thing. But like, if you're on the other side of it, you feel really bad that you would want to stuff a kid for a piece of paper or a couple of points in a series that means absolutely zero.
Yeah.
You know, and injure someone. Like there's that thing in the back of your head, and if you're that much of a piece of shit, I guess, that you're willing to like endanger a kid for a couple points is kind of. So I know you're not doing it purposely, but there's, you know, still.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, like you can, like I would definitely like aggressively pass a kid in a race, not like a practice, but like I wouldn't touch them or anything like that, and I wouldn't pull some like 3 bikes back, dive under the inside of them going into a corner or something. Like I wouldn't do that, but it goes both ways because some of the kids out there can be a rolling chicane, and then it gets a little hazardous because like
100%, yeah.
if you don't go underneath them and tuck them or something, you're going like 6 mile an hour through a corner, and then you're just going to get collected too. Somebody else is going to run into you.
Right.
So
right.
like it is kind of tricky, which is nice that they have like the kids 50 class because like kids that are really just super young getting used to it, they're in their own class, right? Like they're racing by themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Usually like the kids that are racing in the stock moto F3, so on and so forth, you know, they're a little bit older. They're not brand new 5-year-olds, you know. Just kick them off into the grass. But yeah, I mean, if you kind of have to like jeopardize your whole riding style, then it's not really fun for anybody.
Right.
You know, so.
So who we got out there? Let's see. Tanvir, are you still here? I don't know who's still listening. Maybe nobody. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing that I'm one of. I showed 2 people viewing, so I'm probably one of them. So we got 1. All right. It's just us. Oh, somebody else joined.
Oh, Mr. Cupido. Oh, okay. So, well, since
Just hanging out.
Joe's here, that kind of gives me a tad reminder of something that I wanted to show you.
To show me or Joe?
You.
Oh, okay.
That Joe sent to me.
Oh, okay.
So, okay. This is Bittner's dyno. Robum built his bike and did, rods, ported head, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It looks like
Whose dyno is this?
this is Robum.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know what the red, maybe Joe can tell me. On the red, the 89 horsepower, is that just like an initial run and then a warm up of 91? Is that what it was?
You got some dyno graphs over there?
Yeah, I'm going to show it to you here. Joe? I don't know. See if he answers me. Anyways.
Anyhow.
So I think it's not stock, obviously, just like exactly like mine, bolt-ons or whatever. So I assume, it's just is my assumption, that the
Oh, he's here, so you can ask him.
man, what the hell's going on with my on Joseph's graphs. It was like a run of 89 horsepower, and then one was like 91. Are those just the same deal? Same setup, and one it was just ran twice, or what's the deal on that? I can't remember. But I know, the 91 has to be the, just bolt-ons like mine had before when we dynoed mine. So, which proves pretty correct. It was like 86, 87 on yours. On Robum's, mine was like 90, right?
Yeah.
So this is after ported head, et cetera, et cetera.
He said he didn't know. Ew.
And I noted to Joe, I'm like, man, if you look, the power doesn't drop off like mine. If you scroll to doesn't matter. I sent my picture to Joe as well and showed him, the power just doesn't drop off.
Oh, you sent yours to Joe?
Yeah. So if you, should.
Oh, yeah, right there.
So you could see the power doesn't drop off up top like Joseph's does. So that obviously has to do some of that with that soft limiter, and then you can look at just the power, and that's on 93, right? That's the 100 horsepower one.
Yeah. This is pump gas to pump
No,
gas.
obviously Cam's had a lot to do with that. I mean, I'm making almost 5 horsepower more.
So are you guys
down low?
He doesn't have cams?
No, it's just ported head.
Oh, okay.
So you kind of see on there, the cams really make quite a difference, I would say. At like 6,000 RPM, I'm making 5 more horsepower. And then you just take that through the rev range, right?
Yeah. So let's see here.
Yeah. So, Joe, mine was a break-in run as well. So, when the dynographs that I showed you, all that was still on break-in oil, etc.
So yeah, I mean, if you look here, at 11K, whatever the blue one was, 91. So if that was just another run or something,
that was I would say that's the stock, or not stock, but
the baseline run.
Yeah, baseline bolt-on run.
Yeah, so it looks like, that's pretty much, actually per the dynograph, that's exactly where it makes 91.15, and then up top, the green one, the power is actually falling per the graph, the dyno's falling a little sooner, so it's making max horsepower at 10.87 instead of 11. But still, roughly the same thing. So 11 to 11, it went from 91 to 98. So there's 7 wheel horsepower gained at 11. Regardless, that's just a delta, right?
Yeah.
So his blue line to his green line, you got about 7 wheel horsepower. You've got almost 15.
Yeah, you see that, Joe? That's why Jake is the man.
And so yours is still making 100 pretty much out to 11.5, where that one's really fallen down.
Yeah,
that one's back down.
And that soft limiter has I would say that's partially to do with that. But I would also say that, the cams definitely help.
For sure. I mean, the cams, and when you look at before and afters, yours has picked up power everywhere, where this one is level with the blue line until, the blue line's got some iffy tuning. Actually, the red line looks a little iffy too. Both of the pre ones look a little iffy, so maybe they weren't tuned or good running or something.
Well, I would say he's probably had, I can only imagine, because really the only option was just a Gabbro flash. So same flash mine did, right?
Gotcha. It's interesting.
Yes. Very interesting.
So the torque number is down a little bit.
But Hayden posts.
Oh gosh,
Stephen Gillen.
Is Hayden talking to us?
What's that, Hayden? What are you talking about? Just a name. Doesn't make much sense.
I don't even see him.
How about some context with that?
Speak up, Hayden.
Stephen Gillen. I know who Steve is. That's the guy with the R6, right?
Oh, I don't know his last name, so. Is that your buddy that broke his collarbone?
Thought I could tag him to get him to watch. Just share it.
So yeah, I mean, this one's probably what, six-ish wheel horsepower down on yours or so.
Yeah. Yep.
Well-
on just pump gas.
Maybe
Now,
a bit more.
So-
Yeah, probably around 6.
yeah, because I mean, I would
'Cause-
say if his is making, what's it making?
90. Call it 99.
Okay, so 99, and my bike was made what?
It was like 4 or 5 more horsepower
it's
on
like
their
4
dyno versus
horsepower.
mine.
So mine would be roughly around 104, 105 on pump gas on their dyno.
But again, the bigger difference is the curve, right? Because again, at 11,000, yeah. So this one, yours made 86 and 46, and I mean that's very close, like to the red graph here. It made 46 pound-feet. It made pretty much 90 horsepower still, but it made very similar torque. Yeah, I mean it's interesting to see.
Now,
Definitely a lot more top end though on yours.
Yeah, and I mean it's not an apples to apples comparison. I would definitely say that because his is just a ported head with supporting mods. The air. I mean, basically same stuff I have, airbox, etc.
Did they do any compression to this?
No, all they did was well, I can't say that because I don't know, but they did
This is Joe's, you said, right?
Joseph Bittner's, yeah, and not Joe Capito's.
Oh,
no.
okay.
He still says if he keeps his bike, he's bringing it to you. We'll see.
I made more power. Okay,
Yeah,
just so
for
we're
sure.
clear.
But it's just the aftermarket, like the Carrillo rods or whatever, the Robum rods, and the and new pistons and rings.
Okay, and they had Vance and Hines do the head.
Yeah. I would assume because
Yeah.
that's generally what it is.
Yeah.
But and it was more of a endurance build, I guess, for longevity or whatever. But according to Robum, who talked to my buddy when he was questioning about it, and he's like, well, it doesn't really matter. We're still going to have to rebuild the motor at least once a season, etc. I could see that, maybe. But
No Vance and Hines. So who did the head?
unless it's them, unless they're doing it.
They do their own heads.
There you go.
Interesting.
He does have, CNC shit. So, if there's, I don't know if they're setting it up exactly for that, but
Man, they're revving this thing though. So like on the dynos, they always on these 250i's, they'll always cut a little bit like prior to where you like set the cut, right? So like if I set the cut at 11, they'll cut it like 10.8 or something like that, like on the dyno run. And so yours looks like it's turning off at kind of like the 11.5 region, which I don't know. I don't remember what the limiter's set at on yours.
I think it's 11.5.
Okay, yeah, it might be. It's pretty close to that on here. This dyno run is probably at least 12.5 the limiter's on.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of ridiculous because unless they've tuned out the soft limiter, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And like,
But the thing is, like, it's dropping power quick.
right. Well,
so like,
yeah. So no, that may be the soft limiter because when that comes on, it's closing the throttle bodies. Remember, we had the same issue.
well, no, that's not it, because if you can see this on your blue graph, right? Like this is a big limiter, right? Like it's crazy shutting down,
Yeah.
right? So like his isn't shutting down.
but it's just dropping.
It's dropped. Like the
power.
torque is just dropping down, right?
Okay.
Like it's just inefficient. It just can't work up there. So it's not hitting its limiter. It's just not breathing very well up there.
Got you.
It needs more camshaft, more airflow, more something, but it's not breathing up there.
Well, there you go. The man knows his stuff.
But that'll be interesting for you to ride next to him now. Do you ride with him?
No, I've never with him. He's down south. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it'll be interesting. But yeah, maybe six wheel horsepower or so. So
Yeah, and the big thing is like, me and Joe were kind of talking the other day, like, the power and the lower RPMs and the torque, on my setup, that really helps. Where especially for club racer guys or kind of more entry level like Moto America guys who aren't Rocco Landers, who are ringing the fucking shit out of these things, like that little bit of power in the low end to exit a corner, we need that. It helps out a lot.
Yeah, if you look at the low end, again, this is tricky, right? It's not exactly apples to apples, but like whatever. If you look at the low end, at the 6.5 mark, give or take,
Yeah, making 5-wheel more.
Not the red line, but the other two lines is around the 50 mark, pretty much, or right around the 50 mark. And then, we go to 6.5 on yours, and yours is at least 55, maybe 57, somewhere in there.
And that's on your dyno, not theirs. So it's hard to make a real comparison.
Wow, yeah, that would be really bad then. That would be like freaking almost 10-wheel horsepower there.
If it's if it's making 4 more on the lower end, it could only be making 2 more, but still there's a definite huge difference down there in the low end, which I sure that the cams are a gigantic difference in what that's doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just looking at the overall curve there, yours has a I would call it a broader kind of upper power band, right? Because like if you look at it, kind of in the 8 region, it really kind of starts to take off, and then kind of hits a little hump out here at 10.2 or something, and then just kind of gets pretty flat.
Yeah,
like it's good, it's still making power, but you've got that nice 6 or you got that nice kind of 8K to 11K where you're basically just building the whole time. Where this one,
it's just
8, and it starts to build up,
and it kind of flattens out, and then peaks up again. Yeah,
it kind of peaks up here at like the 10.5 or so, and then falls. So, quite interesting.
And it's still like both of them still have that little bit of dip.
Oh, this.
Yeah.
Well, so yours doesn't quite have a dip. Like it just takes off.
Yeah, there's still this slight little dip. It's just not as extreme as what, Joseph's is.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, they are like 7.5. It kind of not really gets weak, but it tightens up a little bit. And so, I guess it does look a little dip-ish. Little dip-ish.
I should have been prepared and put actual graphs up on the screen, but yeah.
No, sorry, guys. I'm looking at them.
Well, I mean, I should have done that beforehand if I was...
there you go.
But yeah, I just thought that's interesting for you to check out and look at that and see. I mean, it's it's not apple to apples in quite a few ways. I mean, obviously, dyno's different, and then the parts are different too. I mean, as far as I have a couple of things extra on mine that he doesn't, but still, more than happy. I'm sure. I'm so curious of what the cost on that was.
A lot.
Oh, I bet.
Do you know if they epoxy their heads, Joe?
I doubt he knows. Well, unless Joseph told him, I don't know.
That's fair. So from what I'm seeing, this is off topic of this, but it's still on topic. This blue line here, that's pretty close to what like a bolt-on GSX 8R does.
Okay.
The new Suzuki.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that far off from the 660. I mean, obviously it's a lot bigger, but I don't think it's that far off in horsepower from the 660. He says they don't epoxy the heads.
Well, there you go.
Okay. I didn't epoxy Ryan's either, but I was just curious.
Because
they can use a little
Vance
epoxy,
and Hines
but
does.
Yeah, Vance and Hines is really good. They epoxy a lot. I might end up having to put epoxy in this guy's GSX-R head that I have because it's already been messed with.
And Chris, my buddy, HSBK, I think his is going to Vance and Hines. So I'll be curious to see what his makes over, what it's making now.
Is he taking his to Robum as well?
No, it's going to HSBK.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So it'll still be interesting. Then we'll be able to compare. I said make sure you get a baseline and an after, because I was like, I want to see it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it doesn't really matter what it says. Like, it could say 120 horsepower, but then like if it dynoed 110 stock, then,
Right,
you know.
right.
But
I
we
still,
do need that. We need that stock one.
Yeah, I'm really curious of what the difference is on it, with what it makes. So.
But like, again, the nice thing is you can look at the curve, right? So numbers completely aside, you don't even have to talk about them. You can see that like your bike pulls up top.
Yeah, 100%.
A lot more. So numbers aside, yours has more of a race bike curve.
Yeah, and that's all I want is that mine's better.
It's a race bike.
That's the whole thing.
Hashtag race bike.
So
why didn't he do cams in his?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if Robum doesn't have like availability to them or. Yeah. I showed those, Joe. I showed those to Jake when he got them done, just for him to take a look at, and we were kind of like, that looks good. But yeah, I don't know. Do you know why he didn't do cams? Was there no availability or what?
We can certainly do that, Brian. I've done a mini Ducati, so
yeah, you need all the power you can get, Brian.
Yeah, the 1199 probably doesn't make enough versus the 660 out there.
Well, I mean, on paper it does, but on track he does, like down the straight, he just freight line me like it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I would imagine. I would say the 1199, like if it was bone stock, it was probably like high 60s, maybe low 70s. Yeah. Bone stock, yeah. So only only 70 wheel horsepower difference.
Yes, you do have a stock motor and exhaust, but you also have a lot more CC than me, like double.
Like double.
And like, almost double the horsepower.
No, for sure we can. Hey, Brian, does your son still have that Hawk? Facts. Dun, dun, dun. Waiting.
Yeah.
So you should look up the company Motocult. I actually worked with them, and we developed a bunch of kits for the CG250 engine that's in those Hawks. And like I port the heads for them and all that stuff. Like we can make a lot more power on those. Those are pretty garbage from the factory. I mean, I know it's not a race bike, but like they barely do like 55 out of the factory. They're pretty rough. But yeah, I've done a lot of those. I've got a few in the shop right now, actually. Yeah, it does. It needs a lot more power. Like they legit make like 12 wheel horsepower. It's pretty bad. The most I have out of one right now is 23 wheel horsepower. So just shy of doubling it. But that one's worked over a little much. We have a pretty basic bolt-on kit that they're actually like a 229cc engine, so it's a big bore. It takes it to the 250, but they're pretty solid around 18 wheel horsepower, and it puts another like 4 pound-feet of torque on them. Makes them a lot more fun, like a lot more fun to ride. Yeah, you can totally bring it. Is his just a standard Hawk, like with the carburetor? Or is it the DLX with the fuel injection? Yeah, I know, $1,600, right? Like you ordered off Amazon, shipped to your door. They're crazy.
What is it?
So it's a dual sport. It's very similar to like my.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about an old Honda Hawk.
Oh no, nope. These new RPSs. Yeah, carb. Yeah, so yeah, like I said, we have a bunch of parts, like different cam. Like I said, I do cylinder head work on them. The big bore kit, it adds compression. The exhaust you can get on Amazon and buy like a $90 exhaust for like a CRF 230 and put it on there. They don't like fit the best, so you gotta make it work a little bit, but they pretty much fit. And then yeah, we put we do a Nibby carb on it. It's like a PE28 FL. so it's got the flange on it, so it bolts up to the stock intake, so it's like a direct swap over. But the you don't use the air box anymore if you put that Nibby carb on there. The intake tube won't fit on it. But those are pretty garbage anyways. They like collapse and leak, and they're kind of junk. So putting a Nibby and a pod filter on there goes a long ways, unless your kid like rides it through lakes and stuff.
What is this?
Oh, that is it's an oil cooler mount that I'm designing.
Oh, nice.
So it's for a Grom. So like this will go on the valve cover.
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
there, and then this will point out, and then an oil cooler will bolt right to it.
Very nice.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's that. It ran out of filament,
Yeah.
and so it just switched over to the white. So there's like a little tiny stuff on there.
Nice.
But yeah, those yeah, they can go pretty far. They're such a simple little bike. But yeah, by all means, we can make it a lot more enjoyable. Then you can change the sprockets out, so you're not running like 8,500 when you're trying to do 55, and it's just screaming and shaking. And the base Hawks don't get the counterbalanced engine either. So like when you're riding it at like 8K, there, it's just shaking like mad. And the other thing is, make sure that you like check the rims over and check all the spokes, because people just like destroy them left and right. And I'm sure part of it is it's a cheaper rim and cheaper spokes, but also I doubt that they, come assembled correctly. So there's probably like half the spokes are loose and the rim's bouncing around, and they're just breaking spokes and bending rims and stuff. So I would go through and check the rims, but yeah, they're definitely neat little bikes for sure. But yeah, if you
Go ahead.
if you do want any of that stuff, any of that Motocult stuff, well, the easiest thing, like, just go through and feel them all, and like try to wiggle them. And if you can wiggle them and they're loose, then they need to be tightened. But you can't just like go ham on them, tightening them like all of them like super tight, because that's how you true a rim. So if you just start cranking them down really tight, you can pull the rim to one way or another. But like if it's loose and you just kind of give it a little tighten up, you should be good. But yeah, just check, like, feel them and make sure they're not flopping around like they're loose. But yeah, if you guys ever want any of that Motocult stuff, like the big bores and stuff like that, just hit me up. You don't have to order it offline. I can get you a discount and just either ship it to you, or, if you want to bring the bike over to me, we can do some stuff. But yeah. Fun bikes. I've grown very fond of dual sports. They're just so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're very boring, especially the stuff that you have, the 230L and stuff. It's like 20 horsepower.
It's a 150 XR 150L, and then the CRF 300. The XR does not make 20 horsepower. I think it makes like 18 right now. It's pretty weak from the factory. It made 10. It was really bad. The XR 150 is identical to the Hawk almost in every way. It's just a better engine. But like we have like crash bars that go on the side, and they bolt the exact same to the XR 150 and the Hawk. Like they are identical. The airbox is like the same on them. Yeah, it's funny. But the 300 is a lot better. That CRF 300 is actually really good. I mean, it's not a powerhouse, but I think mine makes like 28 right now, 28 wheel.
It's not
And that's
terrible.
really nothing special. I designed an intake for it and put that on. That was the biggest gains. And then I put an off-brand exhaust on it and tuned it.
Trying to get this picture that Derek at Pony sent me, if it would come through at some point.
Of your the wheel and stuff?
Yeah, what they've got done so far, that little sneak peek picture.
Yeah.
Why it's taking so long, I don't know.
Just download it from Facebook. Literally, just open the picture in Facebook and click download.
I'm not logged in. I'm logged in under this one, not
Oh.
under the other thing. So
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, you have that.
Fair enough. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about those, let me know. Super cheap to get into, especially for someone wanting to learn to ride. Like, I assume that's probably why Brian bought it for his son, or his son bought it. I mean, I don't know, who paid the bill, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's a good bike to learn on. Super cheap. You can throw it in the dirt and pick it up and keep going. Yeah,
on, man.
exactly. Has he wrecked it yet? Fallen over in the yard? Wet grass? They have okay tires on them, but they're pretty dual sporty, so, like, not the best off-road. Nice. Good for him. But yeah, usually I see people talking about breaking them and stuff when they're trying to do like single track and stuff with them. Not really something you should probably do with it. I mean, like, it is a dual sport bike, right? But like, they're kind of soft, kind of cheaply made. Oh, well, there you go. That'll help. Not much fun to ride on the street with that, though. Full knobbies.
Is that what he said? It's got full knobbies.
Yeah. The bikes just feel so terrible on the road with knobbies.
Man, I don't know why this ain't coming through. Ah, yeah. Finally.
There we go.
Open image. In new tab.
Ryan's trying to get you guys a picture here.
Yeah, struggle with this BS all the time, so. Because I got to bring it up in this thing in order to be able to see it for whatever reason, so.
Okay.
This is probably gonna. Yeah, I don't know why it keeps doing that, but just see if I can do this. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but we'll find out.
Technical difficulties.
I'm just slow at doing this, There it is. Holy moly.
Oh, looks like Brian said something didn't come up on my chat, but it looks like it's on the main thing there. Going to do an MC course at 80 Faro this spring. Going to mount some dual sport tires on it. Yeah. I got a couple buddies that teach that class. It's like a 2-day. I think it's a 2-day class with classroom and bike riding, like in the parking lot. I think they did it for, well, I don't know who employed them, but they did it at Pony. They use like Pony's parking lot and stuff.
I'm not. Yeah, what in the world is going on here?
Oh, there's something on our screen.
Yep, and I'm trying to fix it, so bear with me. Trying to scale it, and I don't know why it's. I don't know. Won't let me. Kind of. I got to scale it down. Man, it's taking forever. Where's this at, actually? This is, yeah, let's just take that off there for a hot second so I can figure this out. The image is huge, and I have to resize it, and for whatever reason, it doesn't like me. So, you know.
You'll have that.
Maybe. It's still a little big. A little too big for that. And I think I got it. All right. So I did the wheels and calipers and swing arm for Pony for their Indian Challenger. And Pony said, actually, Indian said, hell, you know, we're going to contact a couple dealers. They're going to be able to do a build and get like a little dealer contest thing. So, and if anybody follows my Facebook page for my powder coating, you'll see the gold wheels I did and calipers and whatnot. So Derek sent me a little sneak preview of this, and there it is. Very cool. I love the color choice they did on this. You know, they chose this red and black, but the wheels just look freaking fantastic on that against that color. Just perfect. So, and they kind of give that anodized look, and you see the calipers, two-tone those. So, yeah, it's going to look pretty cool, man. I'm excited to see what that thing's going to look like all done. You know, they had filter and stuff like that, and they're going to do a couple other things to make it kind of stand out. So it should be pretty rad looking when it's done. I'm real curious to see it. And
So they're doing an intake on it?
yeah, intake and exhaust and just, you know, normal bolt-on stuff. But and they're going to do a couple more, like, little aesthetic things to make everything kind of flow. But very cool looking. I mean, Derek did a really good job of, you know, kind of figuring out an idea what color choice to go on that. And, like, it's going to look pretty rad, man. It's, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of those bikes, like the Challengers in general. But I like the way this one's coming together, especially because I have a part in it, you know what I mean? But, yeah, dude, like, I mean, the gold, like, in my shop, I was like, they look cool, but, like, I don't know how they're going to look on a bike, etc. But, like, that picture right there made me go, okay, yeah, it worked out good. Like, that gold.
And tell them that Challenger needs tuned.
They might have their own tuning software.
No, screw that.
Wow.
You know, it's interesting because last I heard, like, Pony wouldn't do anything aftermarket like that. Like, they weren't putting pipes on bikes and stuff like that. Like,
maybe not for customers, but this is just kind of like a build thing that, like, Indian said, okay, hey, we want you guys to kind of compete a little bit in this. And then, you know, I assume that whatever they do, I can't. This is all assumption, has nothing to do with Iron Pony or anything like that, but that if they do it and then they're selling this thing, that it's probably going to be still be warranted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, Indian, whatever Polaris brand said, hey, we want you guys to do this. So that, or it's like, hey, this is going to be your show bike for your store, and maybe they take percentage off of it, so when they do sell it or whatever, I don't know all those ins and outs of it. All I know is I get to coat this stuff. You know, it's cool to kind of be a part of that, and it's sweet to see what it's looking like so far. So
yeah,
it looks pretty awesome to me, man. I'm excited to see everything together and what it's going to look like. So they had Spiegler do the lines and stuff. So I don't even know if I should be, you know, really showing that, but
well, the two people that are watching, I think it'll be okay.
That's true. It still looks cool. That stuff's rad. Like, although it's not as technical powder coating stuff as like I really like to do, but it's still pretty awesome to kind of have a hand in that stuff. That's going to be kind of out there. So anybody have any questions, concerns, Pythagorean theorems?
Pythagorean theorems.
Yeah.
Anybody know a squared b squared equals c squared?
Because, if we don't have any viewership, this is all live Q&A tonight, man. We really didn't have many topics. So if we don't have anything, then we'll just pack it up and go. Leave a short one and hopefully be prepared for the next one. I'm leaving that up to you. I really want to try to figure out how to watch. I've kind of looked into it a little bit, but figure out how to get, anybody. Say we want to talk to Mr. Conrad. We can send him a link, and then we have him live video. So, you don't have to have the same type of gear we have. Obviously, it's going to be what we have, good audio. But if you're just on a, laptop or whatever, or phone, we can kind of pick one person to talk to, to have a little bit of a guest on, and not have them here. We could just do it we send them a link basically, and they're going to pop it up, and then we'll put their video embedded in ours. That way we can have a little bit of visitors or whatever we want. If we want to bring somebody on, would be cool to have Chloe, which I doubt that'll even be possible because she's probably like, I don't give a fuck.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we'll get her.
But she's very interesting. If anybody what's Chloe Laren? What's her last name?
Yeah, I guess that's how you say it. Laren.
The AIM, she works for AIM, and she works in Moto America, kind of her own, I guess, unicorn. What is it? Unicorn something? Forget the.
Well, she has Unicornium Engineering.
Yeah.
But then so her main employer is Harley Davidson.
Right.
That's her grown-up job. She's an engineer with Harley Davidson. And then she does AIM support. So she'll do AIM support at track days and stuff like that. I see all the time, she drives the van over to Chuckwalla and
right.
Is fixing screens and setting up stuff. And then who was she with last year?
Forget the ride. Oh, Robum. She worked with Robum.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. Was it? Yeah. It must have been.
She was working with Robum.
Yeah. But yeah, she does data analysis and whatnot for teams in Moto A as well.
Yeah, and so she sells AIM stuff because when I was going to talk to you about it, and then I messaged her, which I was happy that she even responded. But, hey, what do I need for this and that if I want to get this set up? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, do you sell that direct, or do I need to, order from somebody else, whatever? She goes, well, I'm out of this particular thing, so, I don't have that. And I'm like, well, I'm not ready to buy it right now. It's just kind of figuring out what I need to get, certain data points, to monitor brake pressure or suspension stuff. And she's like, yeah, she sells it. So she can sell it direct, which, I'd rather just buy it right from her, put some money in her pocket.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but if we could have her on, it's way over my head for sure. I'll say that. But you would have interesting conversation with her about that stuff. But if anybody has interest in that, that's something that we could maybe reach out, because Jake actually knows her. I don't know her at all, so I just reached out for contact. But
it'd probably get pretty nerdy up in here.
Yeah, I'd probably just have to leave because I have no fucking clue. But
it's funny because we do share a common interest, right, with engines. But it's funny because we'll talk and we just have a completely different approach to it. She's very, OEM, looking at this, looking at that, and I'm like, let's make horsepower. I don't care about emissions. So it's funny. But yeah, we go back and forth on engines.
Yeah, it was the Pipe Dreams podcast, and that's Corey Alexander and James Rispoli. They had her on, and it was super interesting. Again, it was a lot of stuff she started talking about. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is way over my head. But it was just so interesting to see what she's doing and things of that nature, and just kind of where she came from and her background on stuff and time in the U.S. and stuff. So her story's pretty interesting. And then just getting into riding and stuff and all that, just general information stuff. I know she's just talk about how in the paddocks at first people were like, oh, she's a girl. They don't really know. They didn't know who she was or what she was doing. And so people talk a lot about, different things going on. She kind of over here, these different things about engines and stuff like that because they don't know. They just think they're around other friends or whatever.
Yeah.
And then once she got known in the paddock, they're like, "Oh, I know who you are."
Yeah.
Yeah, we would have shut up. So
Yeah, she's really cool, really helpful, super nice. I met her doing track day winter.
yeah. Down at NTM, right? Yep.
Yep. And she's good buddies with Raphael too.
Oh,
My
okay.
buddy Raphael down
What's his last name? Pachinko or
Pacchio, I think. Pacchio. Pacheo, maybe.
and what's his
Yeah, Pach. Oh, ECO. Pacheco.
what's his thing? His is it's not Pit Lane Moto, right?
So Raphael's got a couple things. So he has Affordable Moto Service is his shop that he like works out of, like bike repairs, tires, all that good stuff. Then he has it's like More Gas Less Brake or something like that. That's like his online sales like website
Okay.
or something like that, I think. And then he just started his own track day org, so it's Precision Track Days.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
And so him and a friend of his, I assume it's a friend of his, I don't know, him and another person. I think they're kind of taking over where John quit with Track Day Winter.
Yep.
I think they're kind of taking over in there, and so yeah, he's got his own track day org now. It's Precision Track Days, I think.
Nice. Why don't you look that up and tell him I'm gonna go use the restroom really quick. I'll be right back.
Right. I think it's Precision Track Day. Yeah, Precision Track Day group. So like you can find him on Facebook, obviously here. But yeah, Raphael, he does that as well. Super good guy. Super good guy. All right. Hopefully nobody said anything in the time there because I was off looking for his track day org. Yeah, it's Precision Track Day. But really cool. They just had I think it was their first event just like 2 weeks ago or something like that, or maybe 3 weeks ago.
All right, so they're gonna do NCM then.
So I asked him about it, and he said they want to. It looks like they can, but there wasn't a scheduling conflict really, but there kind of was, and so he was kind of like working that with different orgs.
Oh, I got you.
So it was kind of a little mess, but he's trying to do NCM.
Very good. Well, if he needs more coaches, then he can.
I mean, if he does NCM, I'll go down there.
Tell him to holler at me as well, because I'll definitely go.
I don't know if he lets anybody coach though on small bikes. So,
But what if they're faster than you on a big bike?
well,
That's right.
I don't think
you could just stop talking there.
Well, listen, I don't think you have been faster than me on a big bike at NCM. I mean, technically you don't know because I don't have any times listed, so I could just make stuff up.
Yeah, so no, so I am faster because I actually put a time in. But yeah,
Mine's on a solo somewhere. It wasn't my solo though.
yeah, that doesn't no. Anywho,
I was borrowing Mark's that day. I don't know why I had Mark's solo on my bike though.
you probably did a 239 or something.
Maybe I did a 58, but it was a 258. It took me a while to get around there, you know.
I was going to check. Let's see here. Let me look at something.
But yeah, hopefully he gets the NCM. That'd be really fun to go hang out and see how his org is. I'm sure it's great. He ran with Track Day, well, because he did stuff with Track Day Winter, right? Like he was the tire guy and brung his 30-foot trailer down with Tire Machine tires and all that stuff. So he's definitely well versed in the Track Day org stuff.
Oh, we have our group actually has a schedule up now, so that's fantastic.
Nice.
See if I can bring that up on the screen without completely obliterating whatever we're doing here. Boom. Okay. Yep, there it is. That's the schedule for next year for fast tracks. Yeah. So if anybody has any interest in doing fast tracks at Nelson Ledges, there is the schedule right there. And I should be there for 90% of them. And I'm glad that they didn't. I think they started in April last year, which was just way too early. I think the first one was April. Or like very, very early, like May 1st. And now we're going to look at May 11th. So we should be good. It shouldn't be cold or rainy or anything. So that's good. And then I think the last one, October 5th and 6th. So that's not too late either. So that's
Yeah,
good.
October ones are always iffy in Ohio.
Yeah, I didn't do the last one. And actually, the first day, well, they canceled the first day because it rained so much. It was just flooded.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
It's just not enjoyable when it's like 50 degrees out, wet.
It sucks. I mean, I hate. I'm not a fan of riding in the rain in general because it just sucks when you're wet. I mean, your leathers get wet and it's shitty. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
A lot to clean up afterwards too. Not that I clean my bike too much, but So. But yeah, it looks like I think who just popped up? Who just joined us? I just saw somebody joined us.
Brian might be like bouncing in and out, but
okay.
he's going out to save some lives. So thank you for saving people, Brian.
Yeah, man. We'll hit you up, man. If I get this thing working correctly, so I can bring a guest on, we'll try you out. We can kind of get your take on it because since you raced back in the day, we can get an old guy view on it. But we'll talk to you a little bit about Wera and whatever and some other things like that, and see what we got. So yeah, man. Be careful on your run, and thanks. Anything else there, Jakey man?
I think our viewership just left.
Yeah, I think.
Where's Matt?
I don't know. Who knows what's going on, Matt?
Thanks, Matt. Thought we could count on you.
But yeah, I mean, since we're down on viewership today, and partially it's probably partially my fault because I didn't put.
Actually, this is probably like Matt's driving time. He probably gets off at like 5 or 6 or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're working today or not. I don't know. No, he's usually home by. He's definitely home by 7, but he might have some other things going on in the shop. So, but yeah, Farkas just joins out of nowhere. We're just getting ready to shut it down, bud. Pop up. Should have been here at 7, man. What's going on?
That was it.
Yeah.
He just popped in and said, "What's up?" and deuced.
Well, see, you're out in the shop working. You should just have us on for background noise.
That's right. Just turn it on in the background, listen to it.
We appreciate that, man.
We were going over dyno graphs earlier.
Yeah, it was all kinds of cool. You missed everything. We gave away all kinds of stuff. That didn't happen actually, but
yeah, we didn't give anything away.
yeah, we can't. We're both poor. So.
I give advice out. If you want advice on something, depending on what it is, it might not be good advice, but
oh yeah,
I can still give it.
We all lose track of time, man. That's it's what we do.
I don't really keep track of time.
Yeah, well, that's how you lose track of it if you don't keep track of it.
I mean, I guess that's fair. I'm pretty good at that. I had a guy just bring me a 17 GSX R1000 head tonight.
I don't think we can, maybe talk about that part, but yeah, okay, sure.
Farkas has not my cylinder head, but like I did the cylinder head work on his 110. I don't know if he's still running it. I did it for him. Was it? Maybe it's 2 years ago. I don't remember. For last season or the season before, but I did his cylinder head. Then he had some.
Still running, he says.
Maybe maybe a Canadian guy or something like that.
How dare you?
That we did his bike. I don't know. I'll have to verify that. You know, I don't trust anybody else's work.
Or their dyno.
That's mainly what I mean. I have to verify it for myself.
You got this local guru who's just making power over here, and you guys decide to go elsewhere. What is going on? What's the fascination with that? I'm curious to that. When you have somebody,
I'm guessing he probably ran it on David's or Cam's because he goes down there and hangs out with them.
Stupid. Still, I mean, someone who supports and helps the OMRL and stuff like that, and builds a lot of engines and whatever. Why would you want to go anywhere else? That just, and I maybe I'm being an asshole about it, but I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things, man. It's like, if you know somebody that does that thing and they're good at it. If they sucked at it, that's one thing. You know what I mean? Like if you're like you give Jake something and it makes less power, then you're like, I think I'm going to go somewhere else. 100%. I understand that. If he does a terrible job, but somebody does a really good job, and he's local and it's a local business, you want to help out, like, why not? Why not take it to him? I just don't understand that stuff. Doesn't make sense to me, but maybe I'm being an asshole about it, whatever. But
I honestly usually see it the other way, Andrew. I usually see just straight up inertias read higher than load cell ones. David has that scooter dyno, right?
Oh, you can't trust a scooter dyno. What? Come on, man.
I thought he had a scooter one, like a little red scooter one. I know Cam has a 250i, but unless David got rid of his and just uses David's red 13. Oh, so did it read 15 on the 250i then? On Cam's? Or did you just put a multiplying factor to it from other known bikes? Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I mean the 250i's do all read really close. You have to manipulate them to get them to read differently. I mean, obviously you're going to have differences in the altitudes and the conditions and stuff, but like the weather stations are pretty good at putting a correction factor on there and getting them close. It usually doesn't get bad until you start getting like really high in the correction factors, like you start getting into like a 1.08 or something like that. Like that's a really, really big correction factor. And they'll start skewing a little bit there, but as long as you're like, 0.97 to 1.03, they're pretty solid that they'll read across the board. Yeah, bigger engine peaks lower, for sure. But over 15's awesome.
I'm still going to claim the RS660 highest horsepower.
You most certainly have the RS660 highest horsepower.
Well, I mean, you hear stuff. I mean, I hear, you hear online, like, oh, my bike made whatever.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah. I thought you were just talking about on my dyno. Well, yeah.
Sean Smith, before Headwork and stuff
122, probably.
No, I mean, he said he cracked 100 horsepower prior.
Just looking at it, just putting a pipe on it.
Prior to any Headwork being done, before that was even a thing, he was like, yeah, I cracked it. And that was with, that wasn't with, like, actually tuning the ECU. That was with a piggyback. And I'm like, there's just no way, dude. Like,
yeah, that was on an extremely happy dyno. Like, yeah. So the older dyno jets are really, really bad. So like the gen prior to like when they redesigned it for the 250i, they are honest to God like 13% off. It's really, really far. In fact, I think Cam actually did a back-to-back run because he had an old dyno and then bought a new 250i, and he did a back-to-back run and showed it was, I forget what he ran, but like if it was like a CBR 1000, it was like 167 and then like 148.
Yeah, and like so when I'm bringing this up or whatever, but like Ebe, when I helped you over there when you were dynoing all his bikes and stuff. And then he did it again at some other dyno. I can't remember where it was. I don't know if it was down in Florida at that Moto Millions or whatever. But like Every bike that they dynoed, that you had dynoed. Now, granted, it was hot as shit the day that you dynoed. Like that was the most unbearable heat I think we've had in a
That
long
was a
time.
really, really bad day.
But
Like
still,
it was absolutely
like,
terrible.
I'll have to go through and show you the. Okay, he was saying that. I'll let you comment on that before we keep going on my little rant, but.
That's funny. I mean, they're easy enough to tear down. Pop the head off, show them that it's stock bore. I mean, literally take a couple, head nuts off and get a caliper out and measure it, and you're good. Wow. Well, good for him. I'm glad he's happy with it.
Anyways,
Was that the guy from Canada? If it was Canada, I don't remember.
he said, I wish they would protest it. Back to that Eep thing. Like, so he went, whatever they dynoed, Moto Millions or whatever it was. And yeah, Canadian bike, he said. He put the video up on YouTube, and everybody's like, yeah, no, that's what it was supposed to make. That other dyno, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I think it's the other. There was like one guy that actually made a comment. It's like, no,
you did send me that actually,
Yeah.
because like the one guy was like, no, that's what these bikes actually make.
Yeah, like, you
everybody
know.
else is just fluffing them. Like
Yeah,
Bryn
yeah.
puts stuff on there and it makes 230 wheel horsepower with
Right.
an air filter. Yeah.
Did you end up getting those stacks out to
More.
Yeah.
Yep. So there should be a video coming down the pipe sometime.
Nice.
He said either this week or next week.
Very cool.
Yeah, the Canadian bike. Yeah, so this guy, this little mini bike was insane. I mean, it had like the money that Ebe puts into his bike, that's what was put into this mini bike. There was like no part on it that wasn't like an aftermarket purchased part. Jesus. I mean, I guess the frame was probably factory, but like everything had been touched. It was crazy the amount of money sunk in this mini bike. And it wasn't for like OMRL. It's like the mini dirt class, So he's like riding it like a legit dirt bike. Which those guys are crazy. It cracks me up. Like they're just slinging these pit bikes around.
Oh, dude, they're savage. They send them so hard. It's crazy.
Andrew makes a frame brace for him because like
they're breaking?
tearing the frames. Yeah,
That's great.
like it would just kind of like split.
That's fantastic.
Where the engine like bolted in, doubling down, everything tie, polished internals, everything. Yeah. There you go. Tie's expensive, man. Good luck. I guess it's a good thing that guy wants to throw money because you'll spend a lot on tie.
Well, it's cheaper than doing like a big bike motor.
Yeah. But just like tie axles, tie fork bolts, tie engine bolts, just tie everything. And then anything that's not tie, carbon fiber.
Carbon fibre.
Carbon fibre. Is he allowed? Oh, is that a stock bore only class, or is he allowed to run that 122? Oh, nice. Racetech does a lot of stuff. I don't think people realize they're not just a suspension company. Racetech does a lot. Stock bore only. Fair enough. Talk him into putting it on alcohol. That's the good stuff. I tried to get Andrew to run alcohol like every time he does something different with his bike. He just refuses.
It's ridiculous. Come on, Andrew. Get with the times, buddy.
Refuses. Oh, that's good at least. I mean, there's some really, really good oxygenated gases that you can run. Like a really safe one that everybody runs is U44. Everybody runs
Or
U44.
MR12.
You could run MR12. It's crazy, crazy expensive. Renegade SX4. I'm not real familiar with the Renegade
Fuels is good stuff, man.
I know they make some good stuff. I don't know what the SX4 is. Need to
I think that's similar to the U44.
see the data sheet on it and see. I mean, it's not cheap. Wow. Let's see here. I mean, it has some oxygen to it. It's got a decent octane and a little oxygen. So, like, that's a good fuel. Like, that fuel will make more power than pump gas. But yeah, when you're, that has, 3.7% oxygen. Your X85 is going to have like 31% oxygen. Wah, wah, wah. And higher octane. The X85 probably has 103, 104. 98 probably has like 106. Are you familiar with C85? Oh, yeah, that's probably true, actually. It's funny, I've got a friend that's in Bulgaria, and he talks about like not being able to get all kinds of stuff, and it's just so strange to me because we live in America. Like, I can get whatever I want shipped to my doorstep tomorrow.
Goddamn right.
But yeah. It'd be a fun video
What?
to do a bunch of fuel testing.
We could do that, yeah.
That would be fun. Like, run U44, run MR12, run some Renegade SX4, run some X98.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to buy all that stuff, that's fine.
I've got, like, this much MR12 still.
You owe me $600 for that.
You know what I use that for? Did I tell you what I was using it for?
Yeah, on one of the small bikes, right?
No, I just wanted to put this much in a cup and submerge a stack in it
Oh, okay.
because I wanted to see if it would damage the stack, like being submerged. And because obviously, like, if it's submerged in fuel, that's way more fuel than it's ever going to get in the bike. So
There you go.
I put it in there, submerged it, and it smelled great, but it didn't deform.
Interesting.
We can use Farkas's 122 for the bike. Can't use anything big. Can't use a lot of fuel. The Canadian bike, when like with the Renegade fuel, we can do that. I think that'd be a fun video.
Yeah, we can do that. That'd be cool, man.
Test a bunch of different fuels.
Not something live though. We'll have to do it.
Yeah, because it'd be better to edit it and like cut.
Well,
like,
not just that.
fuel run, fuel run. Fuel
Well,
run.
not just that, but the noise, man. It's like, we can. It'd be so freaking loud. It'd be ridiculous. So to be able to like minimize the volume on that a little bit, so you can explain over top. You know what I mean?
You don't think just like muting the mics?
Hey, you
Doing a
could, but like,
What do you guys want?
We have limited reach. You mean Guy?
Do you? There's 4 people in here.
Oh.
Got Derry in here. Got Scott, Andrew, somebody else. I don't know who the other person is. Whoever you are, thank you for staying or joining or whatever.
Lost track.
What fuels do you want to see? What fuels do you want to test? We can do oil tests too. I've done lots of that.
Yeah. So I'll talk to you about the stuff that I bought for the wife's Benz.
I can't dyno the Benz.
I know that. I'm just saying it's a different oil.
I mean, maybe.
I think it's Triax or something. I saw it randomly online, and it's an ester-based oil. But the only reason I got it, I usually run Rotella T6 in it, but it was a Euro approved, for Euro diesel.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to how it would.
You should just have like a 55-gallon drum of T6, because like don't you run that in your bike?
No.
You don't run
No, I run Molly Liquid Molly now.
Oh,
from
Liquid
you.
Molly
Yeah.
now. Well, you were running Rotella.
Yeah.
Okay. You put Rotella in your truck?
Yeah, in my diesel, I run Rotella T6, and then I was running in her car, but now I tried that just because it was decent price or whatever, and I saw some stuff on it, people saying like it actually did quiet down their diesel and stuff, and just whatever. No one did like a real test afterwards, but like that thing doesn't get ran very hard anyways, so it was like whatever.
Yeah, so I think it would be fun. Maybe we should use a stock bike. A stock bike might be better because then we can do 87, 93, and then MR12, X85, U44. We can try some. There's a. What is that other company that just released like an MR12 style fuel? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, More Speed did something on them. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but
well, yeah. So there's another fuel out there that's very similar to MR12, like highly oxygenated gasoline. However, it does not have lead in it, which MR12 does, and lead is just so nasty.
What's it? What's is it? More Speed? No, it's not More Speed. That's it.
More Mafia.
More Mafia.
More Mafia. Yeah.
I'll see what it's called.
So we could totally do cooling too. It'd be a little tricky.
It's Fuel Factory.
Fuel Factory
Is the brand.
Okay.
Fuel Factory. They're in PA actually. And would it be a leaded?
No, it's not leaded. That's the nice thing. Their MR12 style fuel is unleaded.
So F96, F109, F100. See what oxygenated 5%. How many percent?
It'll be up there. It'll be big, like 13.
2WL. It's 8.75.
Should be higher. I thought MR12 was like 12, 13.
That's their highest unleaded. Now let me look at their leaded. No. MXR2 leaded is 7.2.
All right, well, maybe it's 8 and some change. Then maybe MR12's that. I was pretty sure it was like almost identical with oxygen content as MR12.
Let's see. Oxygen content on MR12 is 8.73.
Okay, so then yeah, it was that 2LW.
Yep. And then, Sunoco has EXO2, and it's 10%.
With no alcohol?
MO2X unleaded, 99 octane, but only 2.7. Hold on a second.
I'm going to need some donators for this fuel test, though, just so we know. This MR12 is really, really expensive.
Yeah, no shit.
It's only like $200 for 5 gallons.
Yeah, I think it's 10% for the EXO2, but it's leaded.
Well, you'd have to do we'd have to decide what we're gonna do with the test, which is why a stock bike would probably be easier than a really modded out bike, because the modded out bike, like for one, you might not be able to run pump gas like 87 in a really highly modded bike, but yeah, I mean, you take a bike that, I don't know, maybe like a twins class bike. Like they don't make that much power, but they make decent enough power that it would be a good comparison, and you could swap. I'm trying to think if I have anything cool in there right now. Got my 450 we could do it on. I got a few other test bikes that are in there. Got Janus, and those are the CG250 engines, though. Well, actually, no. Can't use those because they're carbed and it won't like X85 or 98. Hard to get enough volume out of a stock body of a carb. You could jet them to high heavens, but the body itself might not flow good enough. But yeah, something like that. Actually, I'm doing it. Well, yeah, I was doing a build for a guy on a Grom. It's just kind of a basic 186 kit. It might work, but anyways,
We can figure it out.
we'll figure that out later. But we can certainly do a fuel test.
There you go.
We can do fuels tests. We can do oil tests. We can do whatever.
We will figure it out. Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I think about wrap it up, and the next time we get on here, I'm gonna again. I think I say this every time. Make sure that you have some topics to talk about. I mean, we like the open conversation Q&A, which is great. How much can a stock Sierra 50 take nitrous? Jesus.
So you'd be surprised. You can pump a lot of nitrous into bikes, into any engine for that matter.
As long as you have the fuel.
The problem is the way you go about it. So obviously you have dry kit, wet kit, but you also have the controller of the nitrous as well, right? Like, nitrous isn't just a turn on and go. Like, it can be. You can put a micro switch in there that you click it, it opens the solenoids, and whatever jets you got in there, it floods it. But that's not the best way to do it. That's not really a good way to do it either. The good way is you have a progressive controller on there, and then you actually tune the nitrous, per what the engine can handle or what the tire can handle, right? So like the progressive controller, it'll ramp up, it'll crease. Like you might start at 3K with, like, if we're legit talking about like a CRF 50, you'd be like, 5K, you might put like 5 to it. And then at 7K, you might put 7 to it. And then, at 9K, you might put 9 to it or something like that.
Well, a good rule of thumb is never spray a bigger horsepower than what it makes stock.
Well, you have to throw that out the window when you're talking about bikes.
Well, yes, but on cars, we did, my old Mustang with stock horsepower, 220, whatever, crank, 200 shot on it. The clutch wouldn't really take it, but the motor did.
Yeah. So, I mean, a couple things you just have to be careful with. Again, the way you run it, and then usually, like, you want to go in and at least do ring end gap. Like, if it's a bone stock, like a stock bottom end, you really want to do ring end gap on it at least. Otherwise, if you start pumping a lot of nitrous in, you're just going to butt the rings and, then it blows up. It seals, it attaches to the cylinder and breaks off, and then you're done.
Well, we want to see destruction. That's what you want to see.
Ideally I don't, but I mean, yeah, you can run a crazy amount of nitrous. You can run so much nitrous. Like, it's just, you have to set it up, right? You have to be careful with it. And then obviously the more nitrous you run, depending on the fuel, you might have to pull timing. So if you're running pump gas, you can't just run pump gas and put double the horsepower of a shot into it and then think it's just going to be hunky-dory. Like, that doesn't work, certainly. It's really easy to blow things up on nitrous, but it's also really easy to make them, well, I shouldn't say really easy. It's doable to make them live for short periods of time. Now, you can't do 9/10 racing with nitrous. That won't work. You will die. Like, it will explode. That's way too long to be on the bottle. Like, one, your bottle is going to run low. Like, you're going to have a car-sized bottle on a bike to do a 9/10 race. But then also it's going to cook itself.
Yeah. Well, you'll run out of bottle pressure anyway, so.
You supply the nitrous kit, and I will test it on whatever you want.
There you go.
But I don't want to buy it. That's a little more than MR12 fuel.
It's actually cheaper per pound.
The setup.
Well,
you got to buy the setup.
Just open the bottle.
Yeah, we could just open the bottle and kind of spray it at the throttle body and see what happens. Just send it. Find a cheap kit. We'll put nitrous on whatever you want. We put nitrous on a Grom.
We will figure something cool to bring next time. Hopefully we can do something and have a little bit more to talk about, a little bit more to view, something cool. But yeah, you good? We'll pack it in for the night. Thanks everybody for viewing and checking us out. We're going to head out, and we will see you next week, probably same time, same place. So, yeah, we'll see you guys.
Happy
another
holidays
time.
as well.
Yes, happy holidays, guys. Thanks for viewing.